Welcome back to my channel. I made a video a few weeks ago and it was called Why Catholics Are Healthier Than Everyone Else. And I specifically mean practicing Catholics or just practicing Christians, so people who really obey the Lord and the Lord's teachings. And I noticed in the comments most people did agree with me. And all that being said, the point of the video wasn't to say like Catholics are better because they're healthier than everyone else. It's really not the comparison. I more so wanted to share the observation to give other people hope if you are struggling with your health or your eating habits, or if you emotionally eat or you're dependent on food. Giving it up to the Lord and being an obedient Christian is truly the answer for that. And there's a few reasons for that. You can go back and watch the first video if you want to hear everything I originally said. But as a devoted Catholic, and when I say a practicing devoted Catholic, I mean someone who is actively following the church teachings and going to Mass every week, because part of that does include sacrifice for the Lord. Practicing traditional Catholics fast a lot. There's a lot of times during the year that we fast. All Catholics are supposed to fast from something during Lent. So we give something up and we offer it up to the Lord. And the same thing applies with all areas of our health. If I don't feel like working out, I will sometimes like offer it up for the good of others. And I'm like, I can work out. I can do something I don't feel like doing for the good of others, and ultimately for the good of myself as well, and taking care of the body that the Lord gave me. Number two, we do sacrifice a lot during the year. I usually do the 3-day fast before Easter, so no food on Fridays. Most Catholics do no meat on Fridays during Lent as well, and then give something up additionally. And typically it's food, but maybe it's something else. But self-denial is very important, especially when it comes to health and the world we live in. Unfortunately, it's so easy to eat unhealthy. There's really no way to get away from it unless you're like completely isolated at home and never buy anything unhealthy. There's constantly junk food everywhere. There's fast food. You can overeat so easily with those things. And it's really not even our fault. The food is chemically engineered so that you will overeat all those things. But as Catholics, we know that true joy comes from helping others. And part of that is self-denial. And if you're not Catholic, there is a few concepts that are very helpful. One is redemptive suffering, which means you can offer up your suffering for the good of others. And it sounds silly, but if you're someone, I used to be a personal trainer, and I know how painful it can be and how much suffering it can cause someone when they really need to lose weight and they have health issues. You can offer up your suffering to the Lord, and you can offer sacrifices to the Lord for the good of others. So you can say, I know I am suffering right now. I don't want to work out. I don't want to eat healthy right now, but I'm going to do it for the good of others. And you can actually choose something very specific to offer it up for. So sometimes I will think about like kids who are suffering, and I'll say like, I am going to sacrifice like eating sugar or eating dessert. I'm going to offer it up for the good of others, specifically for kids in need. And just being a Catholic, you get to practice so much self-denial. We also cannot live in mortal sin. So there are so many things in life that we do need to deny ourselves from. And ultimately, they are all for our good, and they are for the good of our soul. And Jesus instructs us to give up certain things for our salvation, which is amazing. But I just want to encourage anyone, if you struggle with your health, if you struggle with eating bad food, if you struggle with overeating, there is hope in the Lord. And specifically when you are able to sacrifice for the Lord and do things for the good of others, I truly think that's the answer. Doing things for someone else you care about has so much more power oftentimes. And if you have children, that's an awesome motivation to be healthy. The Lord wants us to be healthy. He wants us to take care of our body. And sometimes there are things that we just can't do by ourselves, and we have to pray for the Lord's strength. And He will give that to you if you stay in prayer and stay in obedience to Him. And just never give up on yourself. You can change even if you have been unhealthy your entire life. If you are 75 and you've never been healthy, and if you've never lifted weights, you can still turn your life around. You can still eat healthy today. When I was a trainer, there were some people who were older and they started lifting weights and got in the best shape of their life in their 70s, in their 80s, in their 90s. Never give up on yourself, and never ever give up on praying.